It felt like packing was a quick rush. Grab the pictures, grab our important documents, grab a few days of clothes. And then my heart was kind of deflating because as I'm seeing people wade across Canal Street in Benz, I'm like, we're probably not going home. When you think about New Orleans through the lens of Katrina, it's this veil that's over everything. I'm Jordan Bridges, and this is the house I grew up in and came back to after Katrina.
This is the nightmare that New Orleans residents have worried about for years. As New Orleans mayor said, this is perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime event.
The eye alone is 32 miles across.
And with all that water, there really is not much place for it to go.
I was about 17, 18 years old when Katrina hit. I feel like we were one of the last people to leave the city.
We drove all the way through the night to Washington, D.C. That's where we spent the next 4 or 5 months, in the D.C. area.
We were in a hotel room. I remember being next to my older brother, and my parents just kind of looked at us and was like, well, we're not going back, guys. My dad's a contractor, and he's on the road and coming back and forth.
So I would get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, and I would drive from D.C. all the way to New Orleans, and then I would stay here for a week or two, and then I would drive back to D.C. and stay there for a week or so, and then back and forth from Katrina time until middle January. I had a bunch of clients that were in need as the city was dark, and it kind of threw me off a little bit because we were living in D.C. where everything is beautiful, it's nice, everything, and then I would come back to New Orleans to where it was like a bomb had went off.
We need water, we need ice, we need food.
But I remember when I first came down, water and everything was in short supply. So all of the staging area, they had a line that was going like down to the end of the street and around the corner that people were lined up to get water at the local park. I had a little bit of a personal guilt trip brought on me because we had a lot of opportunities. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you do electrical work, 3/4 to 7/8 of your city is out of power, and you're just gonna leave and just leave your city hanging. And so I kind of had a conscious effort to just come back and kind of help the city along like a lot of good people did.
All of the houses that had the markings on them, and you know, it was code to the first responders and stuff like that, like where bodies found. All of this was hit really hard. It's a little surreal, you know, to think of what it came from, what it used to be, and what it is now.
A lot of people never came back because they were traumatized. They lost family members. We lost a couple of family members. We had lost friends. Everybody was displaced. And you wouldn't think 12 years later that people would still be dealing with Katrina issues. And it's kind of a low profile because we don't want to concentrate on the past too much. But still, some people are just moving back now after 10 and 12 years.
On January 17th in 2006 when we came back, just came back to a ghost city, it felt like. Martial law, everybody had to be home from 6 o'clock. And I remember the first day of school in New Orleans was actually on my birthday. Real bittersweet, so many questions. Who's gonna fix all this? Why are all the restaurants closed? Where did the people go? What's gonna happen? And now, post-Katrina, what hope lies ahead? watching the city come together for something like that is what makes New Orleans what it is. I love New Orleans with all my heart. There were people that gave their lives, figuratively and literally, for this place to be what it is. For some of my family and some people in the city, they would say Katrina ultimately opened their eyes. For some, they'll say that it washed away places that they'll never get back. I want to believe in a city that learns and is learning more and more how to take care of its vulnerable communities and protect that history and that legacy. 13 years later, post-Katrina, especially as in my mind as somebody that went through it, I can still see the lasting legacy that even that'll have on the people here. Do I see myself leaving New Orleans? Probably for a vacation. Go see something for a little while, go experience the world for a bit. But God made New Orleans unique and beautiful enough for me for a lifetime. So I'm here.
Hello Today fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.